James, and so this panel is part of the Community Engagement Week here at the University of Mississippi. So we are bringing together current and former AmeriCorps members through the North Mississippi Vista Project to kind of talk about their national service, the impact it's had on them, and their future plans. I'm Stacey Palmer. I'm currently a Vista leader with the North Mississippi Vista Project, and starting with Ben, I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hey, I'm Ben Salvador. I did 2 Vista terms. I did one with the University of Mississippi Lucky Day Scholarship Program and another year with the School of Education here at the university. Currently, I work as an academic mentor for the College of Liberal Arts Fast Track Program.
Hi, I'm Adriana Cooper. I was a Vista member and Vista leader for 5 years at the North Mississippi Vista Project. After my term, I took a break, but I am currently seeking a government job using my non-competitive eligibility.
My name is Noelle Thornton. I'm currently the Financial Aid Advisor at Northwest Mississippi Community College Proctor campus, and I did 2 Vista terms, both at the Center for Mathematics and Science Education here at the university.
Awesome. So we'll start with Noelle again. Can you tell us a bit how you were introduced to national service?
Yeah, so I was looking for opportunities to serve within the Oxford and Lafayette community, and I have heard through others within the Oxford community about AmeriCorps Vista through curriculum study here at the University of Mississippi. And so when I was able to kind of, figure out, what exactly was involved with the Vista, I decided to go ahead and apply, and then they matched my interest with an opening at the Center for Mathematics and Science Education, and so that's where I was placed.
And for me, my site found me, and through them, my site was the Minority Tool Alliance in Tupelo, Mississippi, where they help minority and women-owned business owners or entrepreneurs kind of get their leg up in the corporate world. But they recruited me first, and then I learned more about AmeriCorps, the North Mississippi Vista Project, through them.
So I remember I was referred to AmeriCorps by a friend that I made through my undergraduate experience. My undergrad was in social work, so I did a lot of community work and community engagement in undergrad. I remember when I was graduating, I didn't really have like a clue what I was going to do, like many undergrads do. And a friend who was the Vista leader at the time, her name was Eddie Dingus, thought I would be a good fit for AmeriCorps. So that summer after my undergrad, I applied, and I got to stay right here in Oxford, and I didn't want to leave. I loved it so much. I got to work with students, and it was just that referral I made, those connections you make that are really essential.
So we'll start back with Ben, but what were your expectations beginning your service term, and how did it compare to the reality?
I guess, so I didn't really know anything about AmeriCorps when I started, so my expectations were kind of like, I was here to help people. I read some of the mission statements online, and I wanted to just, continue my work of community engagement that I did in undergrad. So my expectations were just kind of open. I wanted to go into it with an open mind and just try to meet people along the way. I think the reality was a lot, a lot better than what I was expecting. I got to have a lot of fun, meet a lot of friends. I made a lot of professional connections. Working with the students helped build my interest in higher education, so that's what made me stay in higher ed. So it just allowed me to kind of find myself while providing opportunities funds to pay for my education for grad school later on, to provide a lot of opportunities.
For me, it's kind of the same answer. I knew about working with different communities, but once I got into the position, I learned even more, as well as learning about other projects around the United States. And I met tons of great people. I learned so many new skills, and from career-wise, it helped me out a whole lot because I wasn't really sure what to do after I graduated college, but now I know I want to continue working within communities and helping them grow.
And so for me, I think with when I first started, I was thinking more in the lines of direct service. However, when I got in at my site, you were able to see about capacity building and being able to build infrastructures within your site to help make sustainable projects for after your term is over. So I think for me, being able to come in and actually see that capacity building has a lasting impact on the site that you're serving and the community that you're serving. As far as professionally, my story's kind of like this. I love higher ed. Being able to work at the Center for Mathematics and Scientific gave me exposure to higher education also on the K-12 side. So I was able to kind of see how both of those can go hand in hand, and that's what really made me want to be able to say that.
I'm so glad you brought up the capacity building, and what you can answer too, but, you know, you started off, you said you felt direct service, which is what a lot of business members think when they start out. So did you know about what capacity building was prior to your service? And if so or if not, how did your opinion or like your idea of what capacity building is expand throughout?
So capacity building was introduced to me when I first started my service. I wasn't familiar with it before I started that, and then once we kind of got on the mission of what the mission for the CMS does, and then understanding what capacity building is, being able to tailor projects so that fit that definition, building sustainable infrastructure. Well, we still have direct service experience with some of the AmeriCorps outreach that we do through the North Mississippi District Project, but being able to actually understand what capacity building was, I really got a better understanding about what I began myself.
I would say, like, that's a good point. I think about that, but, you know, I remember first going to it, I thought I'd be, like, you know, in the community a lot, and there's plenty of days where you are in the community, helping folks one-on-one, but a lot of it is, you know, for me, it was, like, set in my office, or, like, you know, send a lot of emails or collaborating with folks, but it's really setting up success long-term, because AmeriCorps members only serve for 1, 2-ish years, but you want to be able to make sure the next person that comes after you has a pathway to like continue that success. I remember the School of Education, we created a student group, Team 36, that would be kind of like a volunteer group for the AmeriCorps member, but also help out with schools, with high schoolers, with ACT prep, so like creating an organization that would last, you know, a couple of years. It's important.
All right, so we'll start with Adriana. In what ways did your service term influence your future plans?
I would say joining the North Mississippi District Project helped broaden my scope as to how, excuse me, I lost my words, how there are many more different projects around Mississippi and more that I was expecting to see. Some that may I hadn't even thought of even. So,
So you mentioned using the federal non-competitive eligibility now.
right.
Do you think you would have, or were you considering prior to your service term maybe having a federal job or working within the government?
I didn't expect that. I really didn't know that was a benefit until I had started orientation that first day, and I thought that was really cool, and I always kept it in the back of my mind. And hearing stories from other former FISTA members and FISTA leaders saying that they used that to get their current job helped me out a lot. Yeah.
So I think with my education plans, first of all, I didn't know if I wanted to get higher until I got further into my AmeriCorps experience and being able to see the work that the CNSC does on the K-12 side, and then being able to see the interactions that they have with their graduate assistants and their undergraduate assistants. I really like the student dynamic, faculty and student internships, and just being able to observe that, because that kind of is what led to my interest in the higher ed. And so my final year, I was able to do my first year of grad school through the online program while also finishing out my last year of service. So that just kind of geared me, you know, being able to decide that that's what I wanted to do professionally. And then, because I became a then academic aid advisor at the Oxford campus for Northwest. And so I was really able to kind of do that on a broader scale of with the campus and students that we serve there, being able to work with them and talk with them, and it was really my service here with AmeriCorps that really extended my interest into that field.
So, you know, I think AmeriCorps was definitely one of the main reasons why I went into my like career in higher So when I did my first term with the Lucky Day program here at the university, I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do, so I got my undergrad in social work, but I didn't necessarily want to go that route. So that got me to explore like what higher ed is. And it really just gave me an opportunity to stay in the place that I love. Like I love the Oxford community where I work now and where I've been for the last 10 years. But I had some really great mentors during my time. So my supervisor at my site, Dr. Patrick Perry, and Ms. Nora Miller Logan, who was the assistant director of that program, both had degrees in higher ed from this university. So they were just really key in my mentorship to like pursue higher ed, and then AmeriCorps was definitely like a step in the door. So I got to work with students on both my sites. Also, my second term was during kind of the height of the COVID pandemic, so learned a lot of essential skills and how to adapt online, how to like handle challenges and situations in a creative way. So it really just gave me a lot of skills to get my foot in the door into higher ed, and then allow me to go into the master's program. And I spent 1 year in the master's program while I was also being an AmeriCorps Vista. So that was great that I could do those at the same time. And yeah, it just gave me a lot of connections, and realized I like working with young people, especially like teens and young adults. It gave me a lot of opportunities, so I'm glad I'm where I am today.
So, even Ben mentioned still being in higher ed. Can you kind of talk about like the networking aspects of like your service term and like who that connects you with, or like how that helps you today?
Yeah, I think for me, having Dr. Simon, Dr. James, Dr. Jackson, who's at PMS, and being able to have discussions with them and talk with them about exactly what higher ed is, what the potential job opportunities within that field were essential for me, as far as trying to make sure that was the right program and the right fit. And then, being able to have their opinions on, different classes and projects, and also being able to incorporate, the work that I did at the CMSC in with my academic work was a really good aspect to have. So I was able to kind of, hopefully help my site in that way, and also will also provide some educational academic research in that kind of regard. So that was really cool. And then, having the network, higher ed, it is a big capacity, but it's also small in other areas. So being able to have partnerships, so when I can volunteer with the First Tech Challenge here at the CMSC, just because I love doing it. And the CMSC, I love the work that they do and the missions that they stand for. So any way that I can partner with them post my AmeriCorps service, I love to do that.
Yeah, I think too about the North Mississippi Vista project, they also provide a lot of professional development, which is important to learn how to do the capacity building, work professionally with others. We did grant writing workshops and how to connect with others. So it was really awesome that AmeriCorps provided those opportunities. It was also it's kind of like a national database, or on the website there's a lot of other informational outlets and things. Just having those resources was really great. And again, a lot of connections. Nothing I did was by myself. I was always partnering with others. At the School of Ed, me and the admissions counselor did a lot of our visits to high schools with the partnering staff. With Lucky Day, we did a lot of work around campus. I mean, we did a lot of beautification projects. We also partnered with local nonprofits. So it gave me a lot of opportunity to meet people and realize something like higher ed you don't do by yourself. And we're all here. Whatever your area is, there's so many people working for good in that area. So I think about now, I work specifically with freshman students. There's so many people pouring into those students, and I can take what I learned at AmeriCorps and apply it here, and helping the people I work with now.
And whoever would like to start first, or not everyone has to answer if you don't want to, but what are some of the benefits of serving with AmeriCorps that you've been able to use now, so the tangible benefits?
I think for me, being able to work with a diverse group, and different projects too, because at the CMSC I wasn't involved in just one type of project. I was able to be involved in multiple projects and, have partnerships with AmeriCorps. We did some partnerships with the Union County Heritage Museum in New Albany. Being able to work and have direct engagement with the community in which you serve is really essential. And then being able to translate that into the students that I serve. We have students that are on campus that are traditional students, And then we have students that are part of some programs. So every student is unique and different, and being able to translate the work that we did as a community into my work today at Northwest is very essential with the skills that I gained being an AmeriCorps staff.
I'm not sure exactly, but you get paid like bi-weekly for the AmeriCorps position, but also the money for like college, what's that grant?
Education award.
Yeah, the education award. I use that, pay for expenses for grad school, which is wonderful. So I didn't have to go to any college debt for that. So that was very good, tangible thing. The North Mississippi Vista Project made it very easy to work at the University of Mississippi. So, they paid for our parking passes, which is always amazing. Gym membership. So, now I have to pay for my own parking pass. It was very great, but yeah, a lot of the workshops that the North Mississippi Vista Project did was great, and then also, the resources we got online from AmeriCorps National, workshops, other professional development things we could take part in.
I would say the support was really great from the staff and supervisors and basically everyone within the cohort. Because if you had a question, you could just ask another VISTA member for something to sort of help you brainstorm, where you didn't have to reinvent the wheel to finish up a project you're working on. And I just thought that was really neat.
So I have one or two final questions that I'd like to say we could end really quickly. I'd open it up for any questions from the audience. If you don't have any, it's okay. I have some prepared.
This is actually just a clarifying question. I was curious what you guys mentioned federal hiring type benefit, but I didn't even know what that was, or I didn't know about that before, so I was just curious what that is.
So the non-competitive eligibility is a benefit that VISTA members get after they finish their term. It goes on for a year, but what that does is you're able to sort of bypass some steps when applying for federal positions. There are a lot of federal positions that are looking for AmeriCorps, Peace Corps, NCCC members specifically. Just around the U.S. It doesn't have to be within Mississippi. But, there are places such as USA Jobs. That's the main one, to look for a government position. And then AmeriCorps will send you out an email discussing non-competitive eligibility to sort of further explain what it is and tells you about opportunities and what types of positions are available. So you can also work with AmeriCorps. You don't have to just go to another federal job, but yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So it's so you work through that job site to then get that benefit, rather than you couldn't go on LinkedIn and apply for a job and then apply to it. I'm just curious.
It's a little bit of both. Those outside websites such as LinkedIn or Indeed will automatically take you to USA Jobs, because that's the main website to find government positions or federal positions.
Gotcha.
While on federal and non-competitive eligibility, one fun aspect of being a VISTA is if you do work in the federal job system, is your time as a VISTA counts towards your retirement. So so if you spend 5 years as a VISTA, you automatically have 5 years counted towards retirement, which is pretty cool. Only if you're a federal employee, but yeah. Any other questions?
Question? Yes. So, thank you all so much. This has been great to hear. So if you're thinking about maybe some advice that you might give to someone who's considering applying for a VISTA project, what advice would you give? And then I'm going to shift a little bit and ask, what advice would you give to supervisors of site to help them recruit new VISTAs?
I guess I would say go into it, with your service with an open mind, be flexible because what you start out as, with your project assignment, it may adapt as you go and as you progress through your term. So I think that would, is one thing, kind of just don't have take that and read your assignment, but also just have flexibility in that. And then I think that, for site supervisors, just being able to talk to your site supervisor, I know that was something I really appreciated, being able to talk with you during my service about things that were going well and then things that maybe I needed to improve on or things that how we could work together to get the project done that we needed to get done and changes that needed to be made. And then I think, the advertising, all the benefits that AmeriCorps offers is such a great program, especially Ben, said, you're post-undergrad, you're kind of trying to figure out what you want to do in the workforce. This is a great opportunity, doing your service. You're doing social great work in the community that you're partnered with at your site, and you're also being able to grow yourself professionally and with the network that you establish.
There's a lot of good things. I kind of agree with that. Have to go into open mind, and also look at, there's AmeriCorps positions and VISTA positions all over the country. Like look at, locations are a good fit for you necessarily. I knew I wanted to stay here in Oxford and work at the university, but even North Mississippi offers positions over North Mississippi, but there's VISTA projects all over the country. So look at a location or position that would be good for you. Again, examine those benefits, but also make sure you check things like your finances. A lot of folks are kind of straight out of undergrad or in that young adult area. So I did AmeriCorps while also working in pastoral care at a church, so I could have both income streams while I did AmeriCorps. So I could cover things like my bills and stuff. So make sure you have your finances in order. And for the supervisors, again, being open, listening, providing, support, providing expertise, and advertising is important. I feel I didn't really know what AmeriCorps was, and I feel it's becoming more popular. I hear a lot more people talk about it, so making folks aware of it.
I agree with both. I would also say always reach out to your fellow members and to just bounce off ideas with each other. Always look for the resources that are provided to VISTA members within the drive. And if you have a problem, don't hesitate to talk to your supervisor or the staff or VISTA leader and all of that. And for supervisors, just like Ben said, always listen and maybe have a meeting and talk about would encourage the member and give them positive reassurance that they're doing a great job, no matter how slow or how fast things are going. Just keep reassuring the member.
I want to add in on the advice you give supervisors for recruiting. So our whole panel is students that were students that went straight into VISTA, and one fun aspect is you don't have to be a student just to get in professional development. There's a lot of retirees who want to find something kind of fun to do, interesting, how to give back to their community. So just thinking as a supervisor of talking to your retirees or just finding community members or maybe even mothers who just kind of want to supplement their income while their kids are in school. But yeah, so it's not just students or recent students. I mean, we have a lot of retirees, we have a lot of parents, and yeah, so just kind of keep your options open because they are endless. Anyone else? Okay, so this one still kind of goes back to the supervisor and recruiting. But Adrian, I was going to ask, how did the Minority Pool Alliance recruit you?
So I had just graduated, and I was around the Tupelo area, and someone just came up to me and talked about the Minority Pool Alliance. I believe they were recruiting at the time. it was a member of the Minority Soul Alliance, and they told me all about their mission, and they mentioned AmeriCorps as well. So, and they handed me like the contact information, and that's when I learned more about AmeriCorps through the supervisor from that site.
So when you were going in and you were talking with the supervisor before applying, did they kind of like have an idea of what they wanted to do as a VISTA, or did that come later?
They did. They said they had a book and everything ready to go. But yeah, he told me he told me about the direct and indirect service and how I would be mostly behind the scenes and creating like programs such as the volunteer and mentorship programs that they had, as well as learning how to host brunches where everyone learned how to do an elevator pitch for 2 minutes.
Okay. Before I ask our very last question, I would like to see if our panelists have any questions for each other. Anyone in the audience? Anything at all? It's okay if not. I just wanted to open the floor. Okay, so my very last question, I think it's the most important to me. So what did you find most valuable during your service? You can think on it a moment. It could be personal, professional, just like what was of the most value?
I think for me, the most valuable part of my service was supporting the work that my site did for the Center of Mathematics and Science Education, was supporting K-12 STEM outreach, whether that was special developmental teachers, whether that was going out to school. And my son kind of overlapped with Bend, and COVID was kind of a weird time for everybody. So being able to see, how I could help them adapt their infrastructure to the current climate at the time, and then being able to see that regardless of COVID, we were still making an impact. We were still able to carry out the work at the center, and I was able to help, be a part of that with my role as a VISTA. So for me, that was the most rewarding aspect of it.
I would say for me, during my 4 years as a VISTA leader, being able to see how the sites have grown throughout those 4 years has been tremendous, because as a VISTA member, if you only serve like 1 or 2 years, you look at your monthly report and you're just like, oh, it's just a few numbers. But as a VISTA leader, we see all of those numbers and see how much of an impact that has made for these sites, and it just warms my heart to see everyone helping their community with such.
I think about, some of the most important things to me are just like helping to find my passions and like helping to give me an opportunity, 22, 23 years old, to like really find some professional development and also like find kind of the populations I like to work with. I had a really fun time helping, working with my students and providing them opportunities to work in the community. So like not only helping the community members, but helping like my college students that I work with find their passions as well. It gave me a lot of opportunity to grow as a person, grow as a young adult, and just like make a lot of good connections.
Okay, I would like to open it up to any final thoughts. If there's anything you wanted to add, go ahead. We can. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming and spending time serving on this panel and sharing your wonderful wealth and breadth of knowledge. Also, thank you so much for serving. I mean, your service terms, I got to work with some of you. I got to experience like your terms and like to see the impact it's had. It's wonderful. You all have in some way or shaped me and like my service. So I would like to thank you for that. Thank you for being here. Thank our wonderful audience. Yeah, that's the end of our panel.